Alrighty, it looks like we've got everyone connected now. So thank you guys all for joining us today for the Compass virtual meetup session. This is a really fantastic opportunity to learn more about the Compass program from faculty, mentors, current students, alumni, and our wonderful dean, Lisa Palawai. So what we're gonna be doing today is we're just gonna be having a conversation about what the program is like. Just so that you guys know, my name is Brianna Gonzalez. I'm the Assistant Director of Visitor Experience in the Admissions Office, and I'm here on the background hosting the session and dealing with any tech issues that may come up. So you know all of your mics are muted, but please feel free as we go through this conversation to unmute yourselves. You can also feel free to turn your cameras on. It's really whatever you are comfortable with. And please know that we are recording this session. We hope to share this with others and for yourself if you want to review any of this information later on. So again, please know that this is being recorded. But again, if you have anything you'd like to say, any questions that you'd like to ask, please feel free to unmute yourself. You can also use the chat box. We will be looking through that as well if there's anything that anyone would like to share. So without further ado, I'm going to mute my mic, but I'll ask Lisa if she can take it away.
Great, thank you, Brianna, and welcome everyone. My name is Lisa Palawai. I'm Dean of the JET office that supports the Compass program. We're really happy to have you here today and give you a better sense of what the Compass program is about. You got this email and letter inviting and welcoming you to MassArt and the Compass program. And we're going to spend this hour giving you a sense more of what it is. And first, as I always do with, as we are welcoming new potential students to the Compass program, I just want to say congratulations. It's an absolute accomplishment to get to this point already, to be accepted to MassArt. It's a huge thing. So I want you to just take a moment, and I also want to just congratulate you on the accomplishments so far. So the Compass program is a mentoring program for first-generation college students and their family from Massachusetts. And it's really a support network of faculty, staff, and students. And we have a number of them here today who can speak directly about their involvement in Compass as students, as staff, as program staff supporting Compass. And so I will actually pass the baton over to Loretta and Chris, who are our first year Compass staff, and share a little bit about what the first year might look like. So Loretta, Chris, can you take it away?
I can go first. So hi everyone, my name is Loretta Park. I'm a Compass faculty mentor. I teach in the Studio Foundation. So some of you may actually have me as your faculty as well as your advisor. So the first year Compass program is more structured in that every Wednesday morning we come together as a community to meet, to discuss anything that you are navigating, dealing with at MassArt. And there are also some structured programs that we may organize. For example, we might invite other departments around the school to come and join our meeting so that they can provide you resources and information. So the first year meeting is structured so that you get to know MassArt and get to know each other. And we are, the faculty mentors, are there to support you and help you kind of create a community and also provide guidance if you need help figuring out either academic, social, or cultural structures of MassArt.
Thanks, Loretta. Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Sullivan. I'm a long-term faculty advisor with the Academic Compass program. I've worked with Lisa many years in a lot of capacities. I'm a graduate of MassArt. I teach in Studio Foundation in the drawing area. Again, as Loretta mentioned, I may very well have some of you in our first semester class in September. I love drawing, love painting, I'm a painter, and I love talking with students and other artists about what we all go through in creating, in general terms and in specific terms. And that kind of leads me into some of the conversations that I have with individual students, and it helps to kind of break the ice. We can kind of get into conversations about all kinds of creativity, as well as some of the speed bumps along the way. And this leads right into many of the things that Compass touches on. Compass is, more than anything for me, a community of diverse artists from different backgrounds, different kinds of ways of focusing and so forth. And we come together in a shared safe space to basically trade ideas and to share information from the top down, from the bottom up. There's a real equality across the board, not only between faculty, mentors, and students, but also between upper level Compass students, seniors, juniors, sophomores, first year students who can kind of share space and share information, trade ideas. So Compass does provide a forum and a space for that to happen. We have a terrific space at the top of the, or pretty much close to the top of the Tower building, overlooking much of Boston. And it's a wonderful shared space for Artward Bound, for Academic Compass, for the entire JET program. And you'll learn more about those other facets in time. But anyways, as I say, it's a community. I've worked with Compass for a long time, and I basically would just put it in your head in a nutshell that Compass is set up it's in place for you to help you succeed. And that's the way I like to say it, to succeed in terms of helping you get through your classes, helping you get through your academic requirements at MassArt, helping you get through the academic year and knowing what the calendar is, registration, etc., financial aid help, etc., helping you to basically get to the point where you can successfully graduate MassArt, both in a big way and in a day-to-day way, on almost a microscopic way as well. If you, as an individual, need to speak with somebody for some kind of advising, some kind of counseling, some kind of camaraderie or friendship, etc., or just to simply share some of what you're going through, Compass is the central place for you to be for that. You'll be able to have conversations with other Compass students who have been at MassArt for a number of years, who have already been through, gone through the paces and know something about the experience that you're going through this first year. So you'll have opportunities to talk as you wish with these upper level students. Other than that, I do want to repeat one thing that Lisa says: a big congratulations to MassArt. No small accomplishment. I'm a graduate of MassArt, and I'm very proud of that. I couldn't be more proud of the fact that MassArt serves as the public art college of the country. And there's an awful lot of great work that comes out of the current students, the previous students, the alumni, and professionals out in the art world today who at one point or another were exactly where you are today, about to enter into a wonderful experience at MassArt. So anyways, I'm available for more questions, and I think my email has been forwarded to you. So please, Christopher.Sullivan@massart.edu. All of us are available to you for any further questions, but you'll get more information as we go. But I'm looking forward to meeting you both digitally, remotely, and in person very soon. I can't wait to talk with you. Okay.
Great. Thank you, Chris. Jahari, I'm wondering if you can introduce yourself as a current student and all the amazing things that you're doing at MassArt.
Sure. Hi, my name is Jahari. I am a rising senior in the Studio for Interrelated Media department. There's a little typo on the slide, but that's okay. And I have a minor in sculpture as well. I've been a part of the Compass program since my first year, obviously, and have had classes with a few of the mentors, and I don't know, we've built a community, and I now am a part of this network of current students and alumni, so it's pretty cool. And not only am I a JET student leader with Lisa, Zaira, but I have, also had an opportunity to have other leadership positions on campus. And yeah, I guess if there's more specifics, feel free to ask me questions.
Hey, thank you, Jahari. I'm just going down my screen here. Zaira, do you want to jump in? Introduce yourself, please.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Zaira Campos, and I'm a recent alum from Mass Art, graduated from the History of Art department. Thank you. I am from Brazil, and I lived in Florida for over like 13 years now. So I was an out-of-state student, and I didn't really participate in Compass, but I started working with the JET office as a student leader. Then as their program coordinator, I began working with the students a little bit closer and with the program, helping provide resources like textbooks and materials, and with everything that happened and that is currently happening with COVID, we were also assisting with like stipends and things like that. While at Mass Art, I've done a couple of things. I attempted to start an immigrant support group, and then that led me to working with the Academic Resource Center as a peer advisor. And that, that enriched my relationship with so many students, helping them like figure out their classes, helping foundation students figure out which majors to go into and things like that. I worked with the Center for Art and Community Partnership, or the CACP office, helping them with like organizational things within the office itself to help. We can probably talk about what their program is like a little bit too. And then I began working with JET as a student leader. And with them, my focus has been really with reconstructing critique spaces, especially since it can be so challenging for artists of colors to enter white dominated spaces and talk about their artworks. So kind of like centering ourselves a little bit on how do we have those conversations. But yeah, thank you, and congratulations for being accepted into Mass Art.
Thank you, Zaira. Lee Song, if you could please introduce yourself, and welcome.
Great. Can you hear me? Okay, thanks. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Mass Art. My name is Li Song Liu, and I'm a faculty member in the liberal arts department. I teach Asian history, American history, Asian American history, and US-China relations. And I have been joining in the JET office and the Compass program last year. And my main responsibilities are helping students to register for liberal arts courses, and also to help them if they have any questions, any challenges in the liberal arts courses. But I have been really enjoying my experience this past year, especially whenever I have my regular office hours at the JET office on the 11th floor. So it's, as Chris and the others said, it's a great community. It's very friendly, lively, supportive. And whenever I was there in the office, I had the chance to not just talk about the liberal arts courses related issues, but I have learned so much from students, from staff members about their projects. And I shared with them their excitement about the courses. And it's just a great community, not just so meaningful to myself. So I really look forward to working with everyone in the JET office and also in the Compass program. And welcome again to Mass Art.
Great, thank you, everyone. I was wondering for the Compass staff to help our new students understand what this looks like. What does community actually look and feel like when you're part of Compass? And And I will maybe just kind of throw it out there to whoever would like to respond about that from any perspective. I think I just want to reiterate, when we talk about community, something that MassArt is so values is that connection to each other. And I think that the Compass program has given students and faculty and staff a good framework for understanding what that actually means at MassArt as artists and designers exchanging ideas, grappling with questions, navigating so many things out in the world, especially now. So I'm just curious if any one of you could kind of respond to what does that look and feel like, community within Compass at MassArt?
I could say a couple of words because I've seen many different cohorts of Compass, first year and beyond, over many years, and it can work differently during different years, of course, because it's made up of a group of individuals. So it's going to be shaped a little bit differently, perhaps every time. But I would say that the structure of particularly the first year program to start with, it is quite structured. And so students are coming to the same place at the same time every week, hearing and sharing the same information. So just in some ways like a classroom experience, there's a regularity to it. There's an expectation before you show up about, oh, I have an idea of what I'm going to face during this Wednesday morning meeting. And that, there's a lot of things that go on during that Wednesday morning meeting, but that sets up a certain expectation and a certain camaraderie and a certain kind of connection with each other, the students among themselves. And that feeds into what happens outside of that Wednesday morning slot. Very strongly sometimes. We all experience certain students who finish up on a Wednesday morning and they come back an hour later to hang out. This was going on this past fall a lot with certain students. They just simply find it a comfortable place to hang around with each other until their 3 o'clock class or something like that. That's just one small example, but I have certain individual students in mind thinking about that right now. That then, for me, leads into thinking about the upper level Compass students who don't have such an organized singular time to come to the Compass room, but they basically we have open hours. And, you know, I should explain that after the first year, some of our Compass students go into fashion, go into design, go into ceramics, etc. Many different areas of the school, but there are these open hours set up throughout the week where they're either available to come and to either seek help or, just as importantly, to come and hang out with each other by themselves to quietly do a little bit of work. But it's a wonderful place where conversations continue to happen. So I see, the word is friendships developing with a lot of students in the first semester through Compass, through that regular contact with each other and regular meeting with faculty mentors and student mentors and so forth. And so it gives them something to respond to react against, to question, to agree with, etc. So a good set of conversations happens and continues on. I'll just finish up by saying this. Through the course of anybody's college career, great things happen, mundane, everyday things happen, challenging, difficult things happen. That stuff's going to happen. And we all, at some point, might need to reach out for advice, for help, for an opinion, or just to share our point of view. What is so good, in my opinion and others, about what is going on with Compass, I would say, is Compass acts in a proactive and a preemptive way. In this sense, we bring certain things up and we start to open up the doors and open up the spaces where conversations can happen before there is an issue. So that everybody who goes through Compass realizes, I think pretty soon, your voice matters, your voice will be heard. You are a citizen of this place called MassArt. You are equal with everybody else. And there's a way in which you can, in fact, voice your opinion and be heard, or voice your concern and be heard, and share it with others, as well as hear other people's points of view, opinions, and so forth. And I'm going on about this because this has become so important to me as I realize certain issues we've gone through over a number of years, a number of semesters, and we will go through again. It's going to happen again, even if it's just a small little individual issue that you might have, whatever it is, to have something in place where it's not starting from scratch, you're not starting from zero, you're already involved in communication, you're involved with getting help from advisors, fellow students as well. That makes all the difference as far as I'm concerned. And that's where I would really praise the Compass program for making that quite clear to students. As soon as you walk in the door, you have a voice, and that leads to a larger cohort of community. So anyways, that's my take on that.
And I can add from some perspective of like community from somebody who was not in Compass. Because I was I was an out-of-state student and I was living off campus, which immediately like disconnected me from the space and being a student at MassArt, because I was living about an hour away and it was a long commute. So as soon as classes were over, I was out of there. And that made my first year at MassArt that much harder. I think if I had people I could have depended on and worked with, and like students I could have like met and collaborated with and had conversations as just how classes were going and things like that, I think that I would have like settled in much quicker. And I think that's like something that like Compass can provide, because it takes your first year, the biggest thing that I think you're learning is gaining that agency to ask for help. And luckily I was able to do that. And I found eventually towards the end of the year, I found professors and students that I could depend on and, try to create my way, and Compass, I believe like provides that to you the minute that you walk in. So you're not trying to figure it out by yourself, and it's okay to ask for help. And I think it makes it harder when you're a first generation students, because you don't, like, at least from my own perspective, like as a first generation students, my parents didn't understand anything about American colleges and, who, like, if I needed help with financial aid or with academic advising, like how I would go on about reaching out for that kind of help. So.
Go ahead, Jahari.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. Yeah, just to add to Zara's point, as a Compass student, my first year was like a great opportunity to meet people who were coming from similar experience as me and had similar questions or concerns about college. And so in terms of community, it really helped to be around a group of people and a group of faculty who knew or had a sense of what we might need in terms of guidance, in terms of resources, and listened to each and every individual story and issue or whatever happened. So, in a classroom, we can make friends with whoever, but in terms of navigating campus and, trying to find resources and things like that, Compass really helped me in terms of, like, say there's something I needed, like a hard drive or something like that. Compass was able to say, okay, you two Compass students are in a classroom, and I think it was Loretta's class actually, where I couldn't afford a hard drive at the time. I paid for a school myself, and it was just not a thing. It was not going to happen. So we were able to share Compass's resources, which, for me at that moment was a hard drive, and me and the other Compass student in that class shared a hard drive. We're able to, Compass has a library, we're able to get books that we need for classes from there. And in terms of like somebody understanding that I might, need or struggle getting those resources, and me, in my own personal head wanting to be super independent. I'm in college now, I gotta do it for myself. It was really helpful to not like be shy about asking for those resources. And the Compass students that I met the first year have and continue to be my friends now. So, and like I mentioned before, we are even introduced to some alumni, and I'm pretty cool with some of the alumni that I've met that went through the Compass program as well. And it's nice to kind of see the possibilities and where we could end up, even though we're all going through the struggle to a certain extent. So yeah.
Great, thank you, Jahari. So I would like to share even two things based on my personal experience. And even one, I think the Compass program is a great platform, great community space, because I'm mainly responsible for up-level students. So usually I will have my regular office hours in the JET office. And I observed that that's really a space for people to feel so comfortable, feel at home, and students just sit there chatting, having pizza. We provide pizza food sometimes, I know. And they also work on their homework. And that's the time when I, in fact, had very, very wonderful conversations with some of our campus students to learn about the projects. And I can feel that they feel so comfortable in that space, which both gather people together, but also provide a very comfortable personal space, very relaxing. So that's one thing I have been very impressed with by the program. And secondly, I think as an advisor, I think we have all the offices, all the programs, departments have been working very hard to make sure all the resources are available, all the information is clear, especially during the registration period. And as a faculty member from the liberal arts, we have the liberal arts book, small booklet. So there's a course packet, a packet about all the courses available from liberal arts during the registration period. And I know campus program also had the meetings, right? Last time I joined in a meeting when the program was talking about how to register for the courses. And I have also been working with the ARC, the Academic Resource Center, and they have been working diligently, so diligently, to make sure that all students in our campus program can get enough information and can get the support they need and can proceed successfully, can succeed in every course, not just liberal arts course, but other courses. I've been on the email exchanges about students, and sometimes the ARC staff member also, in fact, visited us at our office to talk about students' progress. So I think the university has been working very hard, and all the departments have been collaborating very efficiently to make sure that we have all the resources available for our program.
Thank you, Lee Song. I wanted to add one thing about people have brought up this idea of friendship and a network that's really wide and deep. As you begin Mass Arts, the Compass program really connects you to this wealth of people and care and community even beyond Mass Arts. Over the years, Chris and I have experienced, opening up the Boston Globe and finding one of our alumni doing some amazing project or won some huge grants, really following their dreams. And so it's really neat to see that. I also want to add that within the first year program that Chris, Loretta are coordinating, there's a counseling and wellness component every morning to that workshop. that we've been talking about. And I feel it's so important, especially in this difficult time out there in the world. And as Compass has encouraged over the years to find ways to take care of yourself as we're, navigating some difficult things out there in the world. I think, as Chris mentioned, with Compass, we want your whole self to participate at MassArt, and you bring that to Compass, and we help cultivate and strengthen your voice, I think, within this idea of community in the ways that different people have described. Loretta, do you want to add anything?
I think a lot of people shared when it comes to kind of a community aspect of the Compass program. And I also was wondering if there were any other questions that we can help address. I think one thing that I would add about the first year Compass program and beyond the first year is that the first year, because all of us are together, all of you are together in the Studio Foundation program, and you may be taking the same courses, I think it is a kind of a good time to really get to know one another, because you'll be spending more time with each other as a Compass community, but also a broader first year community. And I think as students go on to their majors, you may notice that your communities get smaller. Some of your friends may not be in the major you're in, and some of the students may feel that they're not properly supported in the major community. So I think Compass is where you can, not a fallback, but rely on, because you already built that relationship the first year, not only with the faculty members, but also with each other. I think that is the big aspect of the Compass program, is that you are building connection with the faculty and staff, but in some ways, more importantly, with each other, because that's going to be your network, that's your friends are going to be your support system.
So, Jade, you have us all to yourself. If you want to ask a question, you can do that in the chat or go ahead and voice it. If not, we all can continue to talk about Compass for hours. So there's so many amazing things to say about it. So it's not required that you ask a question, but if you do have any, please feel free to do that. And maybe as you're thinking, I'm wondering, Johari, if you might, I don't know, share something specifically, maybe from your first year. I think you already did, but maybe another example of what Compass looks like your first year. Oh, or Jade, are you coming?
Yeah. Hi. I don't have any questions yet. Oh wait, actually, what time does the meetings kind of start and end?
So I can answer that question. So the first year Compass program meets on every Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. So for the fall semester, that is already built in your schedule. So you can see it in your schedule along with your other courses. And we hold the same exact hours in the spring semester. However, that is not going to be built in your spring semester schedule, but throughout the year, it's the same Wednesday morning from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any other questions yet. I just like listening and for the explanations of it all. Thank you.
Chris, were you going to say something?
I was just to kind of just flesh out even a little bit more about this idea of community, but which I'll just say it, and then I'll let you recall an anecdote if you like, Johari. But Jade, just in terms, because I keep coming back to Lisa brought up the word community and examples, and it does. The more I think about it, just for your own knowledge, Jade, and others listening, over many years, I mean, the things that have kind of built a community, a sense of community through actual experiences with each other, at the very least, there are times when Compass will say, yeah, we're going to have pizza, going on. And it kind of, a lot of college students, that draws them right in and so forth. But other things like actually more, not more formal, but more official dinners during the evening hours where there's food provided and maybe a guest artist speaking, or some kind of a demonstration given along with dinner and so forth. And as well as we've had situations over the years where, we talk with students and realize, oh, you play guitar, oh, you play keyboards, or whatever. And we've had events where students themselves have chosen to perform with and for each other. Things like that. I'm not just trying to tout these different kind of occasions for their own sake, but through that, some of those things wouldn't happen without already having some kind of camaraderie, some kind of sense of community to begin with. And through those kinds of outside of the classroom activities, I believe that really goes on to really strengthen a sense of community and a sense of friendship and camaraderie and shared goals and shared experiences. So there's a number of different things that have gone on over many semesters, even including, what was that, Lisa? Was it the Living Theater? Is that what it was called? There was a group of actors.
Story theater, yeah.
Yes. And basically actors would basically, they'd come in and ready to improvise, but basically they'd engage the Compass students, even ask them a certain couple of questions about this or that in their life or their experience. And then they'd play out some kind of a improvised theatrical scene. And it was quite amazing. It was quite amazing anyways, but the fact that they engaged the Compass students, and then we had lots and lots to talk about the following week at our Compass meeting. Between the students and each other and the faculty. So anyways, there's a number of things that really kind of happen in different ways. And as I said earlier, each different cohort, each different group, each year is going to be shaped a little bit different from the previous one. That should be that way. It should be that way because we're all artists. It should be that way because it's a new group of young people and so forth. And the circumstances in the world have changed. And let's talk about that and so forth. So you'll be part, all the incoming first year students will be part of a new group of individuals, individual creative people, and you'll be able to bring what you have to others if you choose to, as well as being affected positively by the experience of other people. And so it's such a great opportunity. So I'll leave it at that for now.
That sounds really nice. When you were talking about students that could play instruments, I go to Zoomix in East Boston, and I co-facilitate the Rock Ed classes and stuff. So I think like that just gave me like a nice thought of maybe there could be some sort of setup with the Zoomix. There are really amazing bands that go there. So I think that would be like a cool little mashup if that's ever possible during those dinners or meetups or anything.
Yes, that sounds great. That is possible.
That would be really nice.
So I guess I can share a little bit about my personal experience as a Compass student. And I mean, we've all kind of touched on community and like resources and things like that. And I just wanted to mention that in addition to building pretty good relationships with the other Compass students and even students from past years and things like that, as students, and I'm going to speak for myself, but I know for a fact that it goes beyond just me. We and I have built a great relationship with the mentors in terms of I feel like I can go up to any of them really and be completely transparent about what I'm worried about or what I need. And in my experience, they're all prepared to answer whatever question, even if it's not even their job. Specifically, they'll guide me to where the answer is. And as a first generation student, as a first year student, as a student who paid every single semester out of my pocket, as a student who worked 5 jobs at once, I had a lot of questions, you know? And even me saying to whoever, to my mentor or my professor, who was also a Compass mentor, saying that, like, being transparent, saying, I'm working 5 jobs, I'm trying to focus in class, I don't have money for this, and I really hope that I can afford next semester, you know? And saying those things, like, immediately I'm given transparent, like, resources, you know? And as Compass students, we have access to the school just like any other student. But as a first generation, I didn't know, because I never was taught or introduced to what financial aid is and what they do, what academic resources and what they do and what they can do for me. So being able to talk to the mentors and being like, hey, this is my situation, what do I do about it? I was pointed to and introduced to, like, face to face. Like, sometimes they'll even walk you over and one-on-one introduce you to this person, or they'll come and meet the whole group a lot of the time. Be like, this person is somebody who can help you. We have, Sarah, help me out, what are they called? They help you schedule your life.
Registrars?
No,
No,
an
it's
academic resource
Oh
center.
yeah, yeah, I could.
they're called, oh my gosh, it also
Success coaches.
Success coaching. Yep.
Boom,
Yes,
there we go.
yes.
We have success coaches who will sit, like, who I've gone to, and we've looked over my class schedule, and I told them I work this amount of jobs and it's not ideal, but have to do it. And we put that in my schedule, and we looked at, like, okay, when are you gonna have time to eat? When are you gonna have time to sleep? When are you gonna have time to do homework? And having those conversations, like, even if it felt obvious, like you're telling me the obvious, like, it was really nice to be able and, like, talk to somebody whose job is to sit with you and explain things to you. You know, me, one of my biggest worries is, and still is, paying for school. Every single semester, I'm like, will I be able to afford the next? But I've made it this far. And I've, you know, financial aid, those Wednesday mornings, we get a lot of visitors from around the college. We get visitors from the Academic Resource Center, from financial aid, from registrar, from counseling and wellness. Half of these places I didn't even know were a thing until I was introduced to them. You know, I don't know about you, Jade, but my school did not teach me how to pay for loans. They didn't teach me what financial aid was, and they didn't break it down. And because I was paying for all that myself, and I kind of just got a bill and was expected to sign it and send them the money, I'm the type of person, I want to know where my money's going and who's it's coming from. And I went to financial aid after I was introduced to Jocelyn and Aurelio, who work in our financial aid department. They visited us on one of those Wednesdays. And I went to them and I said, can you break this down for me? And people are more than willing to sit there for a half an hour or an hour and answer every single one of those questions. And so I feel like, in addition to building relationships and things like that, I've been able to be transparent and say, I don't know what I need, but I know I need something. Can somebody help me? And every single time I have, you know, been able to make a next step. So it's a learning process, but it's like after my first year, I knew who I had to go to for what stuff. So I have no problem walking in on the financial aid office when my bills due and asking questions now, because I know where to go and who to go to. And honestly, without the Compass program, I'd probably be wandering around the building, like, knocking on everybody's door. Do y'all guys do this? Do you handle this? You know, so it's nice to have Compass as kind of like a bridge of communication as well.
That sounds really useful, because I wasn't taught anything about the loans, or I don't know anything about the whole system. The only thing that I do know is I went to the Boston Library for the financial aid person. They set it up for me, and I learned nothing else after that. And then my school like left me hanging. So that would be really a good opportunity. Thank you.
I would just follow that. Thank you, Jahari. What Jahari was saying with we in Compass don't always know all the answers, but our job, one of our main responsibilities, is to help point you in the right direction. Here's the office and so forth. And I believe most of the time we'll even contact the person, get you there, whatever. But at the very least, we can help direct you in the right direction within the campus, within the school, to who's in charge and so forth. And we can follow up with that as well. So that's one of the main things Compass does.
So I just want to honor our time. I know we've got a few more minutes left, and maybe open it up one more time to the group if there's anything else you'd like to add about the Compass program or Mass Art in general. And Jade, feel free at any point in the few minutes remaining to ask a question. But why don't we open up one more time, and any final thoughts about Compass or Mass Art?
I would like to add one point. I think Compass program is kind of the embodiment of the spirit of Mass Art. That's really my feeling, because I grew up in China. I came to the US for my graduate program, and then I taught at another school, and now I'm here. I feel like campus is the place where you feel you belong to. You feel like your voice will be respected and you will be supported, no matter where you are, where you come from, and what status you have right now. And I think that's exactly what Mass Art overall is now, right? We have been trying to build up this sense of a community as a college. And I feel that, especially considering what's happening right now during the pandemic and during the horrible tragedy last week with George Floyd. Again, I'm comparing my experience in the US. I feel like as an international student, as a racial minority in the States, we could be protected during our graduate program, right, by our advisors. But once you start working, you are on yourself, you need to depend on yourself. Then the environment is really, really crucial for us to see, to understand who we are, and to feel comfortable, feel confident. I feel like at the Mass Art and with Compass as really the embodiment of that spirit, people can feel empowered. We have different cultural backgrounds, we have different religious backgrounds, we have different racial ethnic backgrounds. But my personal experience here, only for 4 years, is that this is the place you don't need to be shy about your background. You have your voice, and you will be sure that you will be heard. And I think Compass is really the platform for us to continue this wonderful tradition and to really represent Mass Art on this front. And I'm grateful. I got to know Lisa, Chris, Jahari, and Zaira, and Norita. I think this is a great community. I think back to what Lisa you mentioned earlier, and Chris, the sense of community is really, really important here during this time. So that I just want to share with you my sentiment on this.
And I think in addition to what Jahari and Lisong and Chris and Lisa and Zaira have mentioned, this idea of having a voice or amplifying or emphasizing the voice of the students, I think it's a big part of the Compass program. And the way I think the Compass is doing is that our program is also continuing to change and evolve to meet the students where they're at and meet their needs. So that goes same with the first year programming structure in that we have a set meeting time from 10 to 12:30 p.m. and we may have scheduled things that we are doing that during that meeting time. It might be connecting you to the Academic Resource Center or connecting you to different majors around mass art. But it's also a time where students can ask us for things that they think they need. Maybe you need a studio time because the finals are coming. So, and we're happy to provide that time and space for you all as well. So it's a place that's not just where we're giving you all the resources and we are just telling you things, but it's also a time for you to give us feedback and express what you need so we can help you meet those needs or direct you to resources. So I think that's was one of the last things that I wanted to say.
And I just very quickly just say, one thing I keep in mind, I tell all my students this in my drawing classes, and I've often said it in Compass, but if you learn to ask the right questions, you can usually find the right answers. What I mean by that is just simply, sometimes we don't even always know what we need and so forth. So part of it is kind of coming to a certain consciousness of learning to ask, learning to inquire, learning to explore things and so forth. And I think Compass sets up a very good platform, a very good space where that can happen. In that regard, basically, you all as first-year students and as four-year students, whatever, you still have to do the work. You still have to be creative. You still have to be disciplined in your own way. Put the time in. And in doing that, you will succeed. We're here along the way for you to basically, as you need extra help or if you need a little bit of direction to basically formulate your questions and so forth as far as how to get the help, we're going to be here. And we're going to be here to support you as you do the work that you've committed yourself to by coming to Mass Art. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a wonderful experience. And it will be a certain amount of work, both intellectual and creative, but that's why we're all here, isn't it? To take on these challenges and to kind of, if I may say, play that game. So anyways, I'm looking forward to working with you all.
I just wanted to say one more time, one of my favorite things is that as a first year, you meet with other first year Compass students, but the Compass community is so much more than just that one group. It expands to the sophomore, junior, senior year class, and like I said before, there are so many alumni who are part of the Compass program that still come back and talk to us current students. They still come back and visit the faculty every once in a while. And to be connected and feel connected to that larger group of people is like so awesome. Because, you know, as a first year, you have a certain set of questions, but by the time you're a senior, you're going to have a different set of questions. You know, now I'm reaching out to Lisa and I'm reaching out to other Compass mentors about, okay, what are some Compass alum who are doing what I'm interested in? And those alum are more than happy to sit down and talk to me about their jobs, about how they got there, about portfolio, and look at my portfolio and tell me what I need to work on. Because again, we all started at this place where we're first generation and we have no idea how we're going to make it through college. Then we make it, and then there's a whole nother step. But because of Compass, like, you don't have to be so confused about that another step because there's a network that goes beyond. And that's something that, especially as a rising senior, I'm looking forward to taking advantage of and using. You know, Compass is so large in terms of resources and their physical and mental resources, and it's great. So, highly recommend it.
Great. Well, thank you. Well, we're coming to the end of our time. For those of us all here now and those listening, perhaps at a future date, We are available. Chris Sullivan's email is in your email as far as a person to contact with questions, or really any of us. But Chris can be the point person on that. And again, I will end by the way I began, in saying congratulations. It is a huge deal to be accepted to MassArt, and we hope to welcome you to the Compass community soon. And in some ways, we've already done that in this short time. So thank you for spending the time and being with us, and reach out with any questions. So yeah, I think that's it from us. As we like to say, the Compass family, welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you. I was gonna type it out, but thank you for having this meeting. Even I didn't really have too many questions because they were kind of answered as it went along. But yeah, I really appreciate this. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, Jade.
No problem.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Yes, see you in the fall.
Great, thank you.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.